So if you want to do edge banding, you just take a piece of plywood which has a really nice face, and you want to be able to put a nice edge so you don't see this ugly unsightly edge on the plywood for your finished product. Here you can see I've got matching edge band, which is also in the birch material. I have the edge trimmer, a simple utility knife, an iron to press it on, and a measuring tape. I'll show you how it goes. Let's take this unsightly edge of plywood and turn it into what looks like a solid piece of birch. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you place your piece of edge band directly over the edge, but ensuring that the overlap on both sides is even. So make sure it's really centered. From there, you want to take your hot iron and slowly run it over the edge banding, leaving it for a couple seconds but not too long so that the glue starts to melt and will adhere to the side of the plywood. Be careful not to burn the edge banding or melt the glue too much to where it won't have any strength for adhesion. Now that you have the edge banding connected to the edge of plywood, after you give it a few minutes for the glue to dry and set, I would turn it over so that you can trim the edges with your knife. Sorry to do this and hold the camera. Now that we've got the edges trimmed, you can see the hanging edge banding that we need to trim. Once we trim that, it will look like a complete solid piece of birch. To trim it, you simply take your edge banded trimmer tool and run it across the edge, firmly pressing down. You'll see that pieces will come off. Careful not to get any splinters in your fingers. With the edges trimmed, you can see how nice and clean that looks. I'll generally take a sanding block and run it around the edges to make sure that it's not have any splinters and looks really uniformed. You can see side by side comparison. The unsightly edge of plywood does not even compare to how much more professional and finished the edge banded piece of plywood looks. You can see that this piece of wood looks really good, way better than the unsightly edges like this. This really can make or break a project that you spend hours on. Thanks everybody, hope you enjoy the video.